AEW Full Gear is next Saturday. Here is the card as it currently stands. They will likely add more matches during the week, because 10 matches is never enough. Here's the card and my predictions. We have the 0-hour pre-show. Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line. MJF and a mystery partner defend against the Guns. Austin and Colton Gunn representing Bullet Club Gold. AEW has confirmed that MJF will have a partner this time. And I think that Samoa Joe, look, he's been offering help to MJF. He said no so far. He shed the weight of the Ring of Honor television title to make way for whatever it is that he's going to be doing with MJF. I don't know that replacing one Ring of Honor title with another is going to really be an upgrade for Joe, but I think he helps. And look, the Guns are not Ring of Honor talent. They do not need the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Those tag team titles should eventually go to the Kingdom, who are actual Ring of Honor talents. And story-wise, it makes a lot more sense for it to be them. But to get there, MJF has to retain first. I think Joe is going to step in to help. And I think MJF is going to retain the Ring of Honor tag team titles. We have Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho taking on the Young Bucks. And stipulation is that Jericho and Omega will disband as a team if they lose. But if they win, they get the Young Bucks AEW tag team title shot that they have been sitting on for a while. It goes to Jericho and Omega. I think this is going to cement the Bucks heel turn. When they lose here, I think Jericho and Omega are going over. They will get a tag team title match, whether it be on television, whether it be at World's End next month. When they get their tag team title opportunity, the Bucks are going to cost them the match. They're going to cost them the titles. That will cement their heel turn. I think the Bucks are better off right now being heels anyway. But to get there, Jericho and Omega have to win this match. We have Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland taking on Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Sting, Darby, and Copeland had their first win on Collision last night over Lance Archer and the Righteous, which was also their first match together. I think Jake the Snake is going to have a heart-to-heart with his guys. They can't even win their first match together. He just formed this group last week. They already lost. I see Sting tapping out Nick Wayne with the Scorpion Deathlock here. Sting has been undefeated in every match, all 20 matches he's had so far in AEW. He's this close to retirement. Maybe he goes out on his back. Maybe he loses in his final match and puts somebody else over. It's probably going to be a tag match anyway, so I don't know that Tony Khan wants Sting to take a single loss his entire run in AEW. Why would he lose here? So I think Sting, Darby, and Copeland win. Sting will probably tap out Nick Wayne and the Scorpion. You keep Copeland and Christian apart as much as you possibly can to save things for the eventual singles match for the TNT title. They have their shows in Montreal coming up next month. They're going to be in Canada. Plus, you've got World's End at the end of the year. Either one of those would be a good place for their first match between Copeland and Christian. I'm assuming there's going to be more than one Edge and Christian match. But I think Sting, Darby, and Copeland get the win. We have a triple threat for the TBS title. Chris Statlander defends against Julia Hart, who I have to say, Julia's been putting in some good work lately. And I definitely think there's a possibility that Julia Hart could walk away with the TBS title. I am going with Chris Statlander here, but there is a third person. We do not yet know who it is going to be. It will be either Sky Blue or Red Velvet. They're going to have a match on Wednesday. The winner will be a part of this three-way match. It's going to be Sky Blue. The whole story revolves around Sky Blue. So, of course, Sky Blue is going to beat Red Velvet. Chris Statlander, I think, is going to keep the title, though. I think she should. But Julia Hart, again, I have to put her over. She's been putting in some very impressive work lately. Would not be upset if she were to walk away with the title, but I think it would be premature to take it off of Chris Statlander. We have Hangman Adam Page one-on-one with Swerve Strickland. It was made official last night on Collision that it will now be a Texas death match. And Hangman has been involved in 3 Texas death matches in AEW. He is 3-0 in those matches. That was against Lance Archer, Adam Cole, and Jon Moxley. So the odds are on his side, even though it would be very bold of Tony Khan to have Swerve beat him 2 straight. I think Hangman's going to win. He cut a fiery promo on Swerve last night. He told him one day he's going to take his son to piss on Swerve Strickland's grave. Always nice to have some father and son bonding time together, you know? So Hangman wins. Here's how I see it. Hangman wins. That puts them at 1 win apiece. I think we get the blow off at World's End, maybe inside a steel cage. For the AEW World Tag Team titles, Ricky Starks and Big Bill defend against FTR, Malachi Black and Brody King, and LFI, team of Roosh and Dralistico. I think FTR and House of Black, they're going to sort of cancel each other out. Ricky is going to get the pin on Dralistico to retain. I think they hold on to the titles a little bit longer. I think it'll be the two of them defending against Jericho and Omega after they beat the Bucks. Orange Cassidy defends the AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley. Moxley beat Cassidy for the belt in the main event at All Out. I think this time Cassidy picks up the win and proves that he can beat Mox. Moxley, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need the international title. Now, they may want to put the belt back on him and move on with whatever their original plans were before he got hurt. But I would rather see Cassidy win and then drop the title to someone like Takeshita or Jay White. I said months ago that Takeshita should be the next international champion. That was even before they turned him heel. I feel even stronger about it now that he's a heel. Let him bring some gold into the Don Callis family. But to get there, Cassidy first has to retain here, and I think he does. We have the AEW Women's World title on the line. Hikaru Shida defends against Timeless Toni Storm. I think Timeless Toni Storm is winning the belt back. I know Shida's only had the belt for what? This run? 30 days maybe? But I think Toni Storm gets the belt back with an assist from Mariah May. I'm going to be talking more about her in a bit. And in the main event, MJF defends the AEW World Championship against Switchblade Jay White. I expect an excellent main event from these two. I do not see any chance that Jay White walks out as the AEW World Champion. He's already been walking around like the champion for a month. He's had the belt. He's not winning the belt at Full Gear. MJF is going to retain. What happens when the match is over? Do we get a devil sighting? Does Samoa Joe come back out and choke him out? But if Joe helps him in the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title match, how might that factor into things? I don't know. A lot of possibilities here, but the one thing I am confident in saying is that MJF is going to retain his title at Full Gear. And of course, I will be live after that show. That's next Saturday, so as soon as the pay-per-view is over, live as always on YouTube. After months of speculation, Stardom's Mariah May made her debut on AEW Dynamite. She is officially All Elite. She did an interview with RJ City and acted like an obsessed fangirl for Toni Storm, saying that she went to Stardom just like Toni did. And now she's here in AEW, just like Toni. But she was disappointed to find out that Toni had already left the building. But when RJ told her that he would introduce the two of them next week, she geeked out and she gave him a big kiss on the cheek. Now, she's only 25 years old. She was born in London. Only debuted in Japan last December, so less than a year. But in that year, she has made a name for herself. And what I have seen of her, which I admit is very little, but what I have seen of her is very impressive. Obviously, you look at her and she looks incredible. She's a great pickup for Tony Khan. And when I first heard about the possibility of her going to AEW months ago, I said she had posted something about Toni Storm. And I don't remember what it was. And I said, you know, it would be great if they brought her in to work with Toni while she was doing this Timeless Toni Storm stuff, and they made her Tony's understudy. Where Toni, let's say when she gets too exhausted to work or she's trying to get ready for her next big performance, she's supposed to have a match, let's say, she would send Mariah in there to take her place. And it looks like they may be going with the idea. I think it's a smart way to introduce her instead of just throwing her out there cold in a match with no story. You know, we see how many people get lost in the shuffle in AEW and just end up as another body on television. Here, she's immediately attached to one of the most entertaining acts in the entire company. Now, Meltzer says the story that they're doing with them is based on the movie All About Eve, which was a movie from the 1950s that won Best Picture and is apparently regarded as one of the greatest movies ever made. I've never seen it. And I know it's got Bette Davis and Marilyn Monroe in the movie. I really should watch it. I'm going to try to knock it out this week. I'm going to try to watch it this week. But basically, it's about an aging Broadway star and then a young fan who works her way into her life, into her inner circle, and starts manipulating things until she basically takes Bette Davis's place as the young star to kind of try to maneuver her out of the way. Now, if that's the direction they're taking with this, I like that even more. Because in the end, if we come to find out that Mariah is not as gullible and naive as we're led to believe she is, and she really just wanted to take Toni's spot away from her, and she manipulated her, she could be a fantastic heel. That's why the people who bitched about the way they debuted her on television on Wednesday, oh, in a backstage segment with RJ City, that's how you debut her, need to calm down. Let this one play out. This is one of those situations where once the story plays out, if this story is what I think it is, provided Tony Khan lets it play out the right way, I think in the end it's going to be worth it.